Behind every legend lies a reason. This is Myth and Motive.
Inner Mongolia, the land of the Mongols in China. Hello, everyone. Many people still think Inner Mongolia is Mongolia or that Inner Mongolia belongs to Mongolia. No, Inner Mongolia and Mongolia have no relation to each other. So why do many people still have this misconception? What are the similarities and differences between Inner Mongolia? Curious about this land that seems very Mongolian but is actually part of China? Please watch today. Completely different from Mongolia, Inner Mongolia is an autonomous region located in the north of the People's Republic of China. With a population of about 25 million and an area of approximately 1.18 million square kilometers, it accounts for 12% of China's total area. About 500 kilometers from the capital Beijing, Inner Mongolia shares international borders with Mongolia and Russia. The capital of Inner Mongolia is Hohhot, and other major cities include Baotou, Chifeng, and Ordos. After about 200 years of rule under the Qing dynasty, the Khans and regional leaders of Mongolia began to strive for independence, leading to internal conflicts and the seizure of territories. Mongolian revolutionaries chose Russia to request help in the war against the Qing dynasty and succeeded. However, they only succeeded in liberating the northern part of Mongolia, which is now called Outer Mongolia. Unfortunately, in the tripartite treaty between Russia, Mongolia, and China, China refused to let Inner Mongolia go, insisting on keeping it. This is certainly not surprising, as Inner Mongolia has abundant coal, minerals, and other resources. Since then, Inner and Outer Mongolia have been separated, and Outer Mongolia gained internationally recognized independence under the name Mongolia. When the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region was established in 1947, the Han Chinese made up 83.6% of the total population, while Mongols accounted for only 14.8%, originally two distinct regions. As a result, Inner Mongolia and Mongolia do not share the same language. Most Mongolians speak a Khalkha Mongolian dialect, with about 40 different dialects. In Inner Mongolia, Mandarin is the common language and is taught in schools. The eastern part speaks the northeastern dialect, while the central region, such as the Yellow River Valley, uses Jin, another dialect of Mandarin Chinese. However, the Mongols there all know the Mongolian language, although the vocabulary and pronunciation are closer to ancient Mongolian. The Mongolian dialect is influenced by Chinese, sometimes making it difficult to understand. The traditional clothing of Inner and Outer Mongols used to be identical, which is a deal. After a period of modernization, the colorful and patterned deal was set aside and is only used on national holidays like Sagan Sar and Naadam. Young Mongolians prefer to wear traditional Mongolian clothing with a modern touch. However, most Inner and Outer Mongols wear clothing similar to the majority of people worldwide in their daily lives. The traditional lifestyle of Mongols is nomadic, heavily focused on livestock herding. This is also true for Inner Mongols, as they often herd sheep for a living, quite different from the traditional Chinese lifestyle. According to some local residents in Inner Mongolia, due to excessive mining by plantations, Inner Mongols are no longer allowed to herd. Even the local people are forced to change their lifestyle to farming. While in Outer Mongolia, or Mongolia itself, the nomadic herding lifestyle is still maintained to this day. Inner Mongolia is one of the regions with the harshest climate in the world and is also the coldest place in China. Record low temperatures have somewhat changed the lives of the people. However, children here had to adapt early to life in the freezing cold. On such days, people in the region mostly stay indoors and avoid going out. Driving on slippery roads poses many challenges. Even roadside garbage bins are heated before being emptied to prevent the garbage from freezing at the bottom. Winter here is long and harsh, with temperatures sometimes dropping to a record low of -45 degrees Celsius. Thanks to its breathtakingly beautiful scenic spots, Inner Mongolia still attracts a large number of tourists despite its harsh climate. One of the famous tourist attractions in this region is the Silamoran grassland. Rolling hills, lush green meadows where horses gallop freely and livestock herds graze. If you've seen it on TV, the Silamoran grassland looks exactly like that. You'll be immersed in endless greenery and refreshing breezes. Above this vast grassland is a sacred temple named Pahui. It is likened to a palace for living Buddhists to practice. This temple is magnificent and splendid, embodying the wisdom of the local people. Located 12 kilometers west of Ordos city and about 70 kilometers east of the Sagendran tourist area. The Ordos grassland is a harmonious blend of stunning natural landscapes and the distinctive culture of ethnic minorities. Here, there are vast stretches of lush green grasslands, Mongolian yurts. The grassland is divided into various areas such as performance arts zones, culinary zones, resort zones, and several functional zones. A prominent destination is the Genghis Khan Mausoleum, a national heritage site located in the Gandeli grassland of Ordos city. According to Mongolian customs, funerals are held secretly, making it difficult to pinpoint the exact location of the tomb. However, this place helps visitors learn more about this famous historical figure. The mausoleum was built from 1954 to 1956 by the Chinese government in traditional Mongolian architectural style. The total area of the mausoleum complex is over 50,000 square meters, with a spacious square in front of the main hall. The decorative patterns in the mausoleum are said to symbolize prosperity and happiness. On the walls, there are many paintings depicting the life and achievements of this emperor. Annually, the mausoleum welcomes millions of visitors who come to tour and pay their respects. To achieve the beautiful Inner Mongolia of today, the local people underwent a long process of working together to create the miracle of turning desert into grassland. Countless efforts, sweat, money, and even blood were shed in the battle against harsh nature to strive for a better life. Kubukal, located in the Ordos area, covers 18,600 square kilometers, 26 times the size of Singapore, and is the 7th largest desert in China. Over 40 years ago, this was a dead land. In spring and winter, sandstorms from this area frequently affected not only Beijing, but also Tianjin and Hebei, places over 800 kilometers away. Unannounced sandstorms reduced visibility, caused dense dust haze, disrupted traffic, affected health, and disrupted daily life. With no other choice, the Inner Mongolian government and people began the fight against desertification. Despite knowing it was an extremely difficult challenge, they were determined to turn the desert into green grassland. For nearly half a century, this arduous battle has continued, and humans are gradually gaining the upper hand. The area is becoming greener, with grassland expanding like an oil spill. Forests planted using unique methods, inspired by the discipline and perseverance of ants. Grasslands and wetlands are increasingly appearing within the desert. This astonishing achievement has drawn admiration from international friends. Many countries facing desertification have come here to learn and exchange experiences. It can be said that this place is like a living textbook on combating desertification and managing deserts. One of the distinctive cultural features here is the traditional Mongolian wedding. A complete wedding consists of 4 rituals: the engagement ceremony, the strength test, the race to the wedding, and the main wedding ceremony. The initial engagement gifts brought by the matchmaker to the bride's family include sugar, fresh tea, and horse ankles, wrapped in a white cloth symbolizing harmony, warmth, and prosperity. The bride's family accepting the gifts means it. Next time, the gifts include a traditional round cloth, milk, and sugar. S family accepts the engagement, the groom. Close to the wedding day, the groom brings the final gifts: a roasted whole sheep, wine, fresh tea, and a round cloth. Both families gather, sing antiphonal songs, and celebrate the engagement together. S family hosts a grand feast to welcome the groom. S room, there is a roasted sheep. The groom must break the rod with his hands. If clever, pulling it out makes it easier to break. Otherwise, the groom will face difficulties and be teased by others. On the wedding day, the 2 families compete to see who arrives first at the groom's house, where the first feast is held. S family will send someone to find the groom. When hit hard, the horse in pain will run away, and the groom must go find it. To avoid losing, the groom's family prepares an additional feast near the house. The bride's family passing by will stop to join, hitting the groom tied to run home first. At the wedding ceremony at the groom's house, the newlyweds will together slaughter a chicken to examine its liver, predicting good fortune. In front of both families, they will have a cup of wine with butter smeared around them. The bride scoops wine to offer to her parents-in-law, then pours it into her own and her husband's cups, each drinking half. The remaining wine will be finished by the groom. Both families feast together, eating, drinking, dancing, and singing until midnight. Modern weddings have been simplified, but still retain four symbolic rituals like the Inner Mongolia has few festivals. The major festivals are Saga and Sa, Lunar New Year, alongside Mid-Autumn Festival, Camel Racing, the Bazi Festival, and Naadam. Games. The two biggest festivals are Saga and Sa and Naadam, each typically observed with 3 days off. Every festival features competitions, singing and dancing, and the Naadam festival consists of 3 lively competitions: archery, horse racing, and wrestling for all ages. In the past, winners of these 3 sports would be rewarded with horses, camels, sheep, brick tea, and silk as prizes. Today, many activities have been added, such as polo, horseback riding, and ball games, alongside traditional singing and dancing performances. In 2010, Naadam was recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. The festival is held in summer or autumn, usually in July or August, when the grasslands are lush green and livestock thrive. The event typically lasts 3 days and can extend up to a week. Kadag. The guest gently takes the silk scarf with both hands, slowly bows, and respectfully drapes it around their own neck, as hands supporting the other. Both as a health check and to wish each other well. Vehicles and machinery in Inner Mongolia do not use gasoline but liquefied gas, a locally abundant resource. Using liquefied gas saves costs and protects the environment due to lower emissions than petroleum. Automatic liquefied gas pumps are installed in parking lots of entertainment areas or residential zones. This vast land, nearly 4 times the size of Vietnam, has no traffic pull stations. Not only beloved for its wild and majestic beauty, Inner Mongolia also holds many mysterious stories. Tens of millions of years ago, the vast land of Inner Mongolia must have held many secrets. In the 1920s, an American expedition arrived in the desolate and uninhabited area of Inner Mongolia, not far from the Gobi Desert. There, the expedition unexpectedly discovered an enormous number of dinosaur fossils. One dinosaur fossil discovery site was at a salt marsh in Mongolian Dinosaur Cemetery. Since then, Inner Mongolia has been known as one of the first areas in Asia to find dinosaur fossils. The number of dinosaur fossil species displayed at the Inner Mongolia Museum is around 20. Even rare giant dinosaurs like Tyrannosaurus have been excavated and displayed here. Another mystery is the top-secret geological project. Inner Mongolia 723 attracted attention due to a series of strange explorations. In 1962, the Inner Mongolia 723 geological project was launched to survey and search for rare minerals across this vast land. However, it is unclear what the scientists dug up or found during the survey. But after 2 months, the Inner Mongolia 723 project was abruptly halted and classified as a national top secret. A few years later, China's Cultural Revolution caused the Inner Mongolia 723 geological project to fade into obscurity. Since the project became top secret, even now, no one knows the truth behind the story. What on earth did they dig up? And there are also hundreds, thousands of different explanations. Years later, the Inner Mongolia 723 geological project became a topic sparking imagination for writers and screenwriters. For example, Nam Phai Tam Thuk, the renowned author of many mysterious stories like Dao Mo, Trom Mo, Ma Ki, Koa Ha Ping Tuong, spent 3 years writing about the 723 project, aspiring to create the Great Desert of. In the Great Desert of Huang Lang, author Nam Phai Tam Thuk wrote about Inner Mongolia like this: "Only then did I realize that within those desolate, arid mountain ranges, countless mysteries still exist. And no matter how vivid your imagination, there are things you simply cannot explain. There are even stories so unbelievable that anyone hearing them would find it hard to trust, such as the appearance of the hellworm, whose bizarre shape is described as resembling images often seen in magic books. The hellworm can inflict harm on anyone who approaches it. However, no one has ever had a chance to encounter this worm in real life. Seeing it in movies is much easier. In 1907, some foreigners conducting archaeological work in Inner Mongolia discovered wild men in the area. Afterward, many Russian experts came to explore. Unfortunately, the wild man's story was never recounted again. However, decades later, Inner Mongolia had another strange tale about giant fossilized skeletons. That was in 1982, when 8 sets of marine fossils were excavated in Inner Mongolia. The peculiar thing was that these marine fossils were all up to 4 meters long. After excavation, where these skeletons were moved to remains a mystery. The only evidence is some old photos circulating online. Many people know that Inner Mongolia is the launch site for the Shenzhou spacecraft. Partly, this may be due to Inner Mongolia's natural conditions being suitable for spacecraft launches. Another reason is that Inner Mongolia's harsh climate provides adequate training conditions for astronauts before they embark on space exploration. This is also a place where unusual natural phenomena or unidentified flying objects are frequently sighted. At 1830 on September 25, 2005, an unidentified flying object appeared in the sky over Inner Mongolia. By 1840, it disappeared into the air. On the same day, UFO reports also emerged in Russia and some other provinces of China. 9.25 Incident. Although they once shared a territory, Inner Mongolia and Mongolia are now two completely different places. China would not be pleased at all if anyone thought Inner Mongolia still belongs to Mongolia. Nevertheless, it remains a beautiful, fascinating land worth exploring. Though Mongolian cultural traits have diminished, they are still preserved here.
If the legend hooked you, subscribe and open the next case.